everybody, welcome back. You know what we talk about today? We talk about how your success and your business is going to look like a Christmas tree. Not a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but an actual Christmas tree. And that's all I'm going to give you. So without further ado, here's the intro and let's get into the episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mind of George Show. I'm back in Montana. I got back this morning or last night, or really late. I was just in Ohio. And I'm going to tell you right now, when this footage comes out that I was filming in Ohio, you're going to want to take a look at it. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But today, we're going to talk about how your business is a Christmas tree, which I talked about in the intro that I haven't recorded yet, but I am going to talk about in the intro. We're going to talk about how your business is a Christmas tree and really how your life is a Christmas tree. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you about this video footage that's going to come out. So for those of you who don't know, Prime Life Organics is a company that I have known since inception. They're 10 years old. I think I've known them the whole time. Trina and Josh, dear friends of mine. And now I'm involved in the company. I am there. I'm on the board. I help them. I love them. I believe in everything. We have the best products in the world. They're good for you. Dental, skincare. It's absolutely amazing. It's called Prime Life Organics. If you don't know what it is, stop from the rock that you're under, remove it, go check it out. But I was there because I was working with the marketing team and I have this vision for the brand, this vision like with our content and how we film and how we show our products. I wanted it to be better than anything I've ever touched. Like I wanted to be my piece de resistance. And so in that, I rented a ton of camera equipment. I sent it there. I was there. I had the team. We filmed like 18 hours a day. And the last night we were filming till like 2 a.m. when my flight took off at 5 a.m. And so like we were really putting it in and we finished filming. We filmed for like 3 days and I was like, all right, team, is there anything we missed? And they're like, yes. And they've, for years, they have this amazing deodorant that I love, but nobody has used it. Nobody's wanted to make a video of it. It's kind of hard. And so then I was like, I got this. So at like 2 a.m. and there's video footage of this floating around and it will be coming out in ads. I started using deodorant in all the wrong places. I put this charcoal deodorant on my forehead, my face, and then I kind of like fell in love with what I was doing and made love to the camera. So that I ended up realizing that we needed to show people how to use deodorant. I was wearing a black t-shirt. So then I actually put it on over the t-shirt and it was this beautiful thing. And I felt like I was Fabio without the hair, just living this moment. But this footage, I hope, just goes viral and is seen and we spend lots of money on ads on it. So everybody can laugh at my expense because I was literally putting deodorant on my forehead, my cheeks, my face, my arm. I was smelling it, applying it over my t-shirt. And I was a little delirious after 3 days of filming, but that's where we are. That's the story. There was no point to that whatsoever, except that if you have a thought, if you have an idea, if there's something that you want to accomplish or a vision that you have, go full out and make it happen. And I say this because I sent this to somebody the other day. They asked me a question like, how did you learn this? And I was like, I didn't. I had an idea. I rented camera equipment. And then on my flight to Ohio, I watched YouTube videos on how to do it. And then I literally spent the entire first day setting up cameras, setting up lighting, figuring out if it could be done. And after about 12 hours of figuring out, I figured it out. I'd never used this camera before. I had no idea what I was doing. And to let you know, like, I'm decent with cameras, but this was a new one. So I didn't have the right memory card. I didn't have the right batteries. I had to go to Best Buy like 12 times, new technology. I didn't know how to do it. But eventually I just kept going and going and going and going until I figured it out. And then I realized in that process that there were things that I was doing that didn't work, didn't need to do them again, but I got to the core of what needed to happen. And then I started filming. And then I filmed day 2 and it was good. And then I was like, okay, that worked. This didn't work. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that again, but I am going to do more of that. And then by day 3, it was incredible. I think day 1, I filmed like 50 videos. Day 2, I filmed like 110. And then day 3, I filmed almost 600 videos and it felt easy. And it's so perfect how that applies to today's episode, because today's episode is about how your business is a Christmas tree. Does it apply to your life? For sure. But it also applies to your business more than anything. And it took me about 12 years to figure this out. It took me about 12 years of reflection. And I'm given this gift because I'm a consultant, because I'm behind the scenes in many companies, plus I have my own. I've got to experience and see things in businesses, in e-commerce, and everything from ranging from startup to multiple billions of dollars a year in revenue. And when I finally started taking the time to reflect on what I'd seen and what patterns I recognized and what was consistent across the board, this image started becoming clear to me, and they all followed the same exact pattern. My business, their business, physical product, digital product, it didn't matter. They all followed the same model when I looked high enough to understand. And once I started to get that, it made building and scaling businesses a lot easier because there is a method, there is a model, it is predictable. And that's what we're going to talk about today, which is how your business is a Christmas tree. Now, I want you to picture this. Now, if you're watching this, I'm about to make hand signals, okay? I'm going to make hand signals. But if you're listening to this, I will tell you what I'm doing. So I just want you to take into account a Christmas tree, but not like a designer Christmas tree or Charlie Brown Christmas tree, like the Christmas trees that we drew when we were 3 years old, when we didn't know what to do, when it was like triangle, 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 rectangle, right? That was the Christmas tree that I grew, right? The base was a vertical rectangle, and then basically the bottom was a triangle, and then if you put triangles over each other, then eventually, if you colored it in, it looked like this perfect symmetrical Christmas tree, right? That's how I want you to think about your business. Quite frankly, that's how I want you to think about your life, but your business is the best analogy, right? And so when you think about a Christmas tree, you have this trunk, right? It's the base of the tree. It's the thing that has the roots in the ground. It's what gives it life. It's where its stability comes from, right? It's where its strength comes from. It is the core of everything that it is this trunk, right? And it runs all the way from deep in the ground to where you can't see, all the way up to the very tip, top, right? The trunk. And the trunk is what every other branch of this tree is stemmed from. It comes from the trunk, okay? The trunk is the base. It is the most important part. And then as the tree ages, the bottom of the tree gets wide, and then the next level is narrow, and then the next level is narrower, and a Christmas tree or a pine tree or whatever you want, as you go up, comes to a point, okay? And so I want you to use this analogy because this is how this analogy goes, okay? When you think about entrepreneurship, when you think about starting a company, I mean, you think about your fitness goals, you think about your nutrition goals, it applies across the board, but I'm going to use just business today. When you think about your business will outline a Christmas tree perfectly. And here is what I mean. The trunk of that tree has 3 key elements. There are 3 key elements to the trunk of this Christmas tree that make up your business. Key element number 1 is you. And what I mean by you knowing who you are, believing in who you are, what you do, and bringing all of you to the table into the business. Because whether you're the CEO, whether you're behind the scenes, the owner, you're doing it all yourself, you have a team, this has been your vision in your business. And even if you haven't started one, it's going to be your vision in your business, okay? So the number 1 element is you, okay? The number 2 element of that tree is who you are serving, right? Because if we have a business, physical product, digital product, we have customers, or we have potential customers or people that we want to be our customers. In order to know that or to have that, we have to know who they are. So the second most important element in this tree is knowing who they are. So element number 1 is you have to know who you are. Element number 2, you have to know who they are. And then element number 3 of this tree is knowing the core ways in which you help people. The core ways in which you help people, right? I don't help you with email marketing. Email marketing is a tool that I have in my toolbox to help you. I help you with deep connected relationships with your marketing, with your customers, and with yourself and with your team. And I have these tools to do it. So the base of my Christmas tree is me knowing that I value relationships over algorithms, that I think that we can turn any marketing into ethical-based, two-way, long-term relationships. Who do I help? I help entrepreneurs, and not all entrepreneurs, only entrepreneurs that care about their customers. I don't care if you're pre-revenue, doing $1 million a year or $100 million a year, I can help you. You can be 4-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure. And as long as you are an entrepreneur or a business owner and you care about people over transacting with them, then I can help you. As long as you have a customer, you value that customer and the relationship with that customer, and you're willing to invest in it, I can help you. So that's that. And then how is I have a couple of models or my relationships based algorithms approach, which always comes back to customer journey, congruency, like your own mindset, and then email marketing, right? So those are like the 3 big ways in which I help entrepreneurs. I help you as the entrepreneur with your mindset, your consistency, your congruency, your alignment. Then I help you apply that to make world-class customer journeys. And then email is also something that I specialize in. So I know who I am. I know who you are, and then I know how I help. So the trunk of my tree is made up of that. And no matter what I do, that is going to be my tree. This is what I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing as of right now. And so no matter what, that is always going to be at the center of what I do. And so in order to start a business or grow a business, you have to know what you do and how you do it. So then once you have your foundation, your tree trunk, then you're like, yes, you start building. And when you get started, you take those three things and then you splatter them over the world as wide as possible. You have social media, you have interviews, you have podcasts, you have engagement, you have speaking engagements, you go to farmers markets. Like, think about the millions of ways that we get this out into the world, right? That is the base level of your Christmas tree. And what ends up happening is that you spread out everywhere. You have this core message, you have this awareness of who you are, who you help, and how you help them. And then you go everywhere to find them in the beginning. You are finding customers where you never knew. But then eventually you hit this point where you plateau. You either plateau with your time, your energy, your sales, stagnation, and you're like, I can't do this anymore, right? And then the misbelief that is spread all the time is that at that point you have to add more. But scales comes from subtraction. And so what actually ends up happening is that you have to look at how wide you went. And in the width of you going wide at the base of that Christmas tree, there were a lot of things that worked. And you need to audit and look at what worked. But then you also have to get rid of all of the things that didn't work and come back to the center. And so you hit a certain width, and then you actually have to start finding your way back to your tree trunk. You have to find your way back into the core of what you do, because it is easy to get lost when you're going wide from your trunk, but you have to come back to the trunk. And so you start trimming your way back into the trunk. And what does that look like? That looks like you looking like, God, this worked. We should keep doing this. This didn't. That's not aligned. I don't like it. That didn't feel good. I don't want to be on TikTok. I hate Twitter. But you tried it and you gave it a chance. And so then what ends up happening when you get into this reflection period, could be a day, could be an hour, could be a month, could be ongoing as you pay attention. No matter what, there's going to be parts in your business and times where you need to trim, where you need to prune, where you need to come back to what is there. And what that looks like is the base level of that Christmas tree coming back into your trunk and starting with that trunk again of like, okay, yep, I'm still doing that. This is who I am. This is who I help. This is how I help them. These are the things that worked. And so then when you're clear on that and you've trimmed all the crap that doesn't, you go up to the next level. And at the next level, you go back out wide. But here's the beautiful part. You have learned a lot of valuable lessons by reflecting on that first level. And so when you go wide, you never go as wide because you've learned a ton. So you're more intentional. You're more spot on. You know where to put your energy. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. And then you do that again, building the next level of the tree. And then you're going to hit a point where something's going to feel plateaued or stagnant or need to change. You're going to audit again. You're going to make sure that you're coming right back to what you do as the core. You're going to pick up what worked and what didn't work, and then you're going to sprint again. But it's never going to go as wide because you have more awareness, you have more wisdom, you have more skills, you understand the field. And so as you continue to do this and you continue to grow your business, what ends up happening is that these reflection periods, which are massive, it's why we do quarterly reviews, we do yearly reviews. That's why software that's built works in sprints and agile frameworks and all these different things. It's because that review period is the most important thing. Because no matter what, the worst thing to do is keep trying to build this massive, massive first level of the tree, because it's not going to build a tree. It's never going to end it, and it's not sustainable. It burns us out. We get frustrated. We get resentful. Then we quit. We're like, this didn't work. Of course it works, but your success is going to look like a Christmas tree. You have your trunk, the core of what you do. Then you go wide. You go test stuff. Then you come back in and you go again and you go again and you go again. And by the top of the tree, by the time you put a star on top of it, you know where you're spending your time. You know why you're spending it there. You know why you like it. And you know exactly what you're doing. And that is exactly how I see business and how I see success. And I was on a call with a good friend of mine, Vanessa Lau. She's absolutely incredible. If you do not know her, go check her out. She's like the queen of Instagram. And we had this conversation and I told her about this and it resonated massive with her. And I was like, I need to do a podcast about this because I've been using this analogy for years, but I haven't talked about it publicly. And this includes, you have certain team members that will get you to a point, but they don't get you to the next point, right? I had a very wise shaman say to me a long time ago, relationships either happen for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And we are not our business. Our business is a tool. It's a function that we have to see that way. And so when you think about it, these reflection periods, whether you're doing it monthly or quarterly or yearly, or because it's been forced upon you because something's not working, or you're called to look at it, it's okay to prune back and come in. This is the modulation of business. This is the modulation of entrepreneurship. It's never going to look predictable. It's not going to go up, 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 up. There's this false narrative and paradigm that exists that somehow we're failing as a business if every year, year over year, our revenue doesn't go up. Like, if that's how this worked, everybody would win. It's not like that. It's not a guaranteed lottery win. You have to make adjustments. No one, and I mean no one, can predictably say that every year their business is going to grow 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, unless all they're doing is spending a copious amount of more money on the top, not caring about their bottom line and willing to lose it. But it doesn't have to be predictable. It doesn't have to have that pressure. It can go in seasons. I've had literally close to 7-figure months, and then on the other end had a couple months where it was down, 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 down. And it was my ability to look in those moments to realize that it was a refraction period. I was trimming, I was getting back, and then I came back out and the months were incredible. But I can't expect every month to be up. I can't hit a home run every time. These are natural. And so when you think about your success, and the more that you understand what the roadmap's going to look like, the better suited you are to play the game, because that's all it is. So your business is going to look like a Christmas tree. Okay. Now, a couple points. Number one, we can only nurture or care for one Christmas tree at a time. You might think that having a Christmas tree farm is the best thing, but no matter what you do, if you're trying to water more than one, at some point, one isn't going to get the love and attention it deserves, and you might not see it, but it's going to be affected. Okay. You shouldn't be planting 4 trees at once. You should not be trying to build 7 trees at once. You should be doing everything that you need to build that first Christmas tree. And there will become a point in your business or in your life or with that product where you're like, this Christmas tree is built. I either need to let it go. I need to hire somebody to run it. I need to automate it. I need to do something, but you cannot do it all at the same time. Every company I've been a part of, and I'm talking the most successful ones, the ones that have had billion-dollar exits, we spent the first 5 years selling 2 products. And then once all that worked, we expanded to 400. No matter what, you're going to have like 3 hero SKUs or a hero message or a hero avatar or a hero product or a hero service. And that's what you're building your Christmas tree around. And once you build your Christmas tree around it and you sell that tree or you're proud of that tree, you stick it in your living room, you've had experience and earned the right to build another one or to plant another one, because you're probably going to hire people at that point to help you manage the other ones and water them at the same time, to where you're not the one directly in charge to raise that Christmas tree and people are helping you, and then it becomes possible. But until that point, you have to understand that you are planting a tree. The most important thing that you can do is be crystal clear on your trunk, what's in it, and always coming back to that and being willing to play the game, to expand, to test, whether that's a new social platform, a new email strategy, a new ad platform, a new media platform, a new marketing message, some different creative. And in the period of these, when you're done, you pick an endpoint to these testings and you look at what worked and what didn't work, and you're willing to come back to what you realize does work, add those to the arsenal, and then go up to the next level. And that's what the business should look like. And so what I want you to think about, that trunk. Do you know your trunk? Like, do you know with certainty and clarity, like, this is what I do because I love doing it. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I help. And this is how I help them. And how I help them doesn't mean like, oh, I have a product or I have a service or I have a course. That's not how you help them. That's not how you help them. You're building bridges, but you're helping them change something. You're helping them transform something, right? And if you know that, then your job is to build that tree as high as you can. And it's not going to look the same. Markets change. The world changes. Marketing changes. Ads change. Messaging change. The paradigm of the world changes where people want things differently. Like, you look at how people worked out 50 years ago versus how they work out now. I'd say that changed. The market changed, which changed the marketing, and it's going to happen. So the more time that you can realize that you're going to constantly be testing, you're going to be in this expansion and contraction, the faster you're going to win, because it's a guarantee. It's going to come. If you think that what you're doing today is going to be the same 5 years from now, you've already lost the game, and I can't let you do it. So stop fucking thinking like that. You have to build it like a Christmas tree. You're going to expand, you're going to keep some things that worked, and then you're going to contract back in, let the things that didn't go, stick to the root of what you do, then expand again and come back, expand again and come back, expand again and come back. And eventually you'll come to a point in your life or a point in your career where you're like, you know what? It's time to put the star on that tree. It's just time to cap that tree, let that tree be enough and move on. And I did that. That was for me. That was the food blog. That was Civilized Caveman. I put everything that I could in Civilized Caveman. And there became a point where I didn't like the business anymore. I didn't want to be a blogger, a food blogger. I didn't want to make recipes. I didn't want to be an influencer around food. Quite frankly, I was like sick of food. And there was nowhere for me to shift that business that felt consistent and congruent with me. There were a lot of people that told me, well, hire somebody to run it, do this, do that. That's great that was their idea. That didn't feel good to me. What felt good to me was literally cutting that tree off, sticking it in somebody's living room and be like, I'm proud of it. Let it go and let it live its life. And then I gave it to somebody to make it their Christmas tree. I didn't sell it. I gave it to them. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But then I got to plant another one. And in planting the other one, it led me to where I am today. Now, I believe that the tree that I'm currently growing is the tree that I'm going to be growing for the rest of my life, for the next 60 plus years that I'm on this planet. I believe this is the tree that I'm going to be growing. I don't know that. A hurricane could come in and knock it out. Somebody could get a little zealous and cut my Christmas tree down because they wanted it for their living room because it was so pretty and I might have to plant another one. I don't know. I might cut it down early. I have no idea. I doubt it, but this is the one that I plan on going. And I am crystal clear on who I am, who I serve, and how I help them. It changes, right? The quote unquote tools, the strategies, the tactics. But what doesn't is that I know who I am and who I love. I know who you are and who I want to help. And then the tools, as they come and go, I make adjustments by testing all the time, testing emails, testing customer journeys, testing creative, testing ads, testing social, talking to customers. And in that expansion, I see what's working and what's not. I trim what's not working. And then I come back to the trunk and then I teach all of you on the podcast and my mastermind, my one-on-one clients, my students, exactly what I did to know as I'm building this tree and then you're building your own. And so your success is going to look like a Christmas tree. Your business is going to look like a Christmas tree. There are going to be times where it feels horrible. My revenue's down. My this is down. And in those moments, if you take time to prune and you take time to reflect, you will find all the things that you've done that worked. And then you can stop doing all of the things that didn't. Focus the energy on what did, and it's going to start building your next level. And it's going to get predictable and it's going to get easier because the more experience, the more expertise, the more wisdom, the more comfort that you garner around this, the faster you win the game because you realize it's a game. And it's something that you can predict and pour your energy into. And so that is why your business is going to look like a Christmas tree. I've never explained that all the way out, but I feel like I did a decent job. So what I would love to hear how you feel about the Christmas tree. And I mean this, I test you. About 20 of you DM me every episode when I ask, so I'm going to push this one. Let me see if more of you can DM me. So if you're listening to this and you have never DM'd me on Instagram, now is your time. Now is your time. I want you to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is It's George Bryant, ITSGeorgebryant. I want you to DM me on Instagram and tell me what you think about the Christmas tree. Even better, tell me what your trunk is made out of. I want to know who you are, who you serve, and how you do it. If I can help in any way, I will completely respond with a video message or an audio message, and I will give you a little bit of clarity if I can. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about the Christmas tree? Does this make sense? Is this a good metaphor for you? Do you like, oh my God, I've been beating myself up, but I'm just building a Christmas tree? Yeah. I want to know. I want to know how you feel. But that's all I got for today. That's it. Talk about deodorant on my forehead, talk about Christmas trees, talk about how you have one, you're building one, and that's exactly what your business is going to look like. So the only other thing I want to talk about is if you have not, and somehow some magical unicorn or fairy sprinkled this podcast into your ear, and this is the first time you're hearing about me, I want you to make a decision. In this moment, I want you to decide. I want you to decide if you're going to stick around. If you don't know, go listen to another episode and then decide. If you do know, subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, please do me a favor. Please take this episode and send it to 3 people. Just send it to 3 people. But don't just send it blank. Like, don't do a drive-by. Drive-bys don't work. I want to grow this podcast. I want to help people. And I can do that by you helping me help more people. And then the more people that listen to this, the more podcasts I do and the cooler people I have on, because then I have the quote unquote clout to get their attention to interview them, because that's the fucking world that we live in now for some weird reason. and then we go. But don't do the drive-by. Send this, be like, hey, by the way, bro, I know you're frustrated, but I want you to listen to this because your business is a Christmas tree, and he talks about it in 25 minutes. So go listen to the 25 minutes about Christmas trees. Give them some sort of context to give it a chance. And if you have, I appreciate you. If you've done it in the past, I appreciate you. That's all I got for today. I am going to wrap the episode. I'm going to go eat some food, going to go kiss my family, going to get back to work and record some more because I have a lot of things to talk about with you. But for now, we're going to leave this, we're going to wrap it, and we're going to ship it. So it's Christmas year round when you're an entrepreneur. So start building, planting, and loving your Christmas tree because that's exactly what your success is going to look like. And until next time, I will either see you in the next episode or you will hear me in your earballs. But remember, relationships will always beat algorithms. Here's the outro.